Greetings everybody to day 2 of my Cornish Odyssey. Today I am in Falmouth. Took a while to get here because traffic was a nightmare in Truro of all places, but now I'm here, right down on the coast. Remains of an old gun battery, and there's lots of history here, so that's why I came here, and it's a nice coastal walk which I may do later on. But the plan is to take in the sights, take in the history. There's a castle on the top of the hill over there, over that bluff. But yeah, Falmouth has got a rich naval history, and if I can manage this one-handed, you can see a Royal Navy ship on the horizon. So let's turn this round. So yeah, the weather much better today. It's dry, it's warm. I got my shorts on. It's good vibes. Let's get into it. Let's see what we can see. Currently at the Half Moon Battery. There doesn't seem to be a way in. And it's closed off currently, which is a shame, but there's guns there. A couple of emplacements. It's called the Half Moon because, funny enough, it's in the shape of a crescent moon. And it was built in the 18th century as a naval fort, and was used right through the First World War on like coastal defences and the Second World War, and was decommissioned in 1956. So there's two massive artillery guns. You can just see like the first one in there, and then there's another one in the round building there. So we're on our way now up the hill towards Pendennis Castle. It's a English heritage site, so there'll be a charge to pay to go in. I'll make a decision when I get it. If it looks it's going to be worth my while, I may just stump up and pay for it. Who knows? So I'm now in Pendennis Castle, and I'm in the old barracks area, because it was used pretty much until the middle of the 20th century. Obviously, because you've got the gun battery just in front of it. This is an old cell. Let's have an explore. There's another detention room. Prison year in 1915. Old wooden blanket, itchy as hell. Alright, so this is guard detention room, or temporary confinement, minor offences. Compared to the other two, it's a marked improvement. Latrine. Britain's 1, 2. No. Call that artillery? That's artillery, son. So I'm up to the top courtyard now and about to enter the Royal Artillery Barracks. I believe up to 140 men lived in this accommodation. Up to 12 men in a room. But yeah, there's the castle in the distance. It's all in the same compound. Massive area. That's the guns we were at earlier. Interesting. Warming up nicely too. About time. Beneath the castle now are the subterranean passages. No description as what this is. but there is a gun emplacement next door, so maybe storage for that, maybe. Or primitive air raid shelter. Who knows? Leave a comment in the box below if you're a native and know what this is for. So they're now in a tunnel that has been labelled a tunnel to the Half Moon Battery. You know, the battery we couldn't get into earlier. So I assume at one point this would have led all the way to that one. Yeah, it does. Here we are. Stop filming because it is half term and there's loads of people about, loads of kids about, so I wonder if this does go all the way into the battery, or will I be disappointed? Ah, there we go. We have arrived at the Half Moon Battery. This is a man's gun. How cool is this? A little bit extra down a short tunnel, and yeah, we're at the gun battery that we saw earlier. Nice. 6-inch guns. 1939, it was equipped with 6-inch guns, Mark 7.
World War II, 1940s. That's a 6-inch, 1946. Oh, that did work. This is still in place. This was put in.
Now I'm currently in the powder magazine room where they kept the ammunition for both guns. So there's an overview of what it looked like underground and the storage rooms. Obviously there would have been more than just the one storage room, but yeah, this is just an idea of the ordnance that was stored here for all that time. Making my way to the second gun. And this one, obviously, you can see not obstructed by trees and etc. Yeah, clear line of sight onto the horizon. Straight down the barrel. So these hooks are left over from where the men would hang their steel helmets and gas capes, and every man who working on his gun, 16 in total, had their own number and all position assigned to them. Very fascinating stuff. And as you can see as we go across the entranceway, another set of hooks. There's a very similar setup to this, obviously in worse condition than this, a Breen Down fort. All the doors have gone of these storage compartments have gone in Breen Down, as well as the gun positions. But yeah, just suddenly came back to me. I know this place, a bit like Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, like, you know, when he's in Moria. But yeah, it gives me Breen Down vibes because it's a very similar layout. But another worthwhile explore. If you haven't done so already, there was a step there, Lee. Hope I smoothed it out. So, I've gone a little bit off the beaten path instead of making my way back to the castle. So I found a couple of interesting bits. This old concrete pillar here. Some kind of fixture on top, maybe, for something. Don't know what that is. and then that connects up to the public access section of the moat. And then down here you have what looks like another bunker, but obviously is closed off. Storage maybe, because there's no plaque or nothing. But yeah, always pays to go off the beaten path a little bit. No trespass involved. You know, you never know what you might discover. So back up to the main area of the castle. I'm going to call it a courtyard, even though technically it's not. To what remains of what is called a disappearing gun. And it was an ingenious invention of like Victorian engineers and in World War One, two. That's World War One, not World War One, two. Basically, it operated on a pneumatic system. It would fire. There'd be hydraulic pistons there to suppress the recoil, and the gun would effectively lower itself to below the casemate level, so it could be reloaded without the crew getting attacked or the gun getting destroyed. So it was kind of like a peekaboo gun, in other words. But yeah, good to see little things like this preserved. Next we're going to take a walk over there and see what that's about. Right guys, I'm now in the Tudor portion of Pendennis Castle, the round circular building that you can see from the bottom car park. So we're going to have an explore this and see what we can find. Built in Tudor times to do with the threat of invasion. Next to what we saw yesterday in Plymouth, you know, the Spanish Armada and all that. All of these fortifications were built around that time period to protect Britain's interests. So now I just descended some stairs and I'm in the original Tudor kitchen. It's a narrow set of stairs, so it would have been difficult even in those days to get up and down it. I'll give you a quick shot of it now. That's it. There's not much wiggle room. I had to come down like this, squeeze my arms in. So even back in those days, like lifting food and everything up there would have been a pain. But yeah, this is the main kitchen. Obviously, different cubby holes for supplies, etc. The original fire for cooking. And this is an old oven. Imagine cooking bread, pies, all that kind of stuff in there. These days, you'd use that for a pizza oven. All comes round in a cyclical. We're going to come up the set of stairs to the first floor, which is the cannon room. I wonder why they called it the cannon room. So we've got replicas of the cannon that would have been used at the time, replicas of the shot that would have been used. Obviously put down there, and then the views in the harbour, obviously protecting inland. If you're using the cannon I'm at right now, you pretty much have lost your battle, I would say, because the enemy troops are storming the beach. But yeah, if we go over to this one will have a wider view. Right out into the sea. Right, there is another floor to this building, so that's what I'm going to look at now. Okay, we're at the top of Pendennis Castle. Walked out into this observation deck with cracking views of the estuary. And in the distance on the shoreline is this castle's big sister, St. Maur's Castle. So two castles pretty much have a good firing line over the estuary should the area come under attack from shipping coming in. Sorry for the speedy zoom out. Right, let's see. So I made my way shortly off the top to another observation point, this time giving you a lovely shot of what we've explored today. So we started down in that corner, worked our way through like the prison and holding area, the main barracks, where the artillery guns are kept. There's some examples of coastal gun. And you've got the tunnel then down to the battery, which is down there, to this old castle. Surprisingly, a very big site. Worth the money. Right, feels like I've explored every inch of this castle, and we're finishing off in the portcullis room, which every medieval castle needs. Obviously, one of the main forms of defence back in the day to stop infantry from crossing and getting into the keep. Don't know if it's original or not, or reconstruction, but you get the idea. Reach the far end of the courtyard, and I keep calling it a courtyard, you know what I mean. The enclosed area, closed inner walls in, and yeah, we've got various cannon along the wall, people taking photos on them, but as you can see, you've got the trackways there, which enabled the cannon to turn to get a good vantage point and fire on the enemy shipping. Here I am in the emergency shelter that would have accommodated the 16 gunners, so there would have been 16 hammocks hung up on the hooks you can see in the ceiling, so they'd be ready to rock and roll in times of war, in times of enemy incursion, so they can quickly run to the guns which are just outside the door and along the walls. So yeah. I'm manning those, or working our way to the battery guns along the way. Okay, so I'm now in the battery observation post where spotters could look clearly out into the sea, and if they spotted something they didn't like, they could alert the battery down below us to open fire. It was a bit more complicated than that. There were rules and procedures, but we got depression rangefinder, which may be what I saw in the in that overgrown area off the beaten path. Maybe another one of these. Use to calculate the range, and then you've got the plotter there, which you can move about. Got a map of the surrounding area. And lastly then a telephone, so they could direct line to the battery to say, here we go, we got these coming in. And then a handy chart to the aircraft to look out. So the Junkers, Messerschmitt, I contrast that with the British planes. And then the same then with this time for German ships and U-boats. So there we go, guys. That's Pendennis Castle and barracks and military installation thing done. I enjoyed that. I had my doubts about it when I first rocked up, thinking that's a hell of a lot of open ground, but each exhibit has plenty of rooms to explore, and it's been very good. I managed to get to the Half Moon Battery, which pleased me. So yeah, the plan is now to get some food in and head into Falmouth, and hopefully film another vlog.